Hello and welcome. This is the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, Chani Nicholas. This week we have two major events I want you to think about: a restart, a beginning again, and a type of renewal that could take place in your life as we talk about the astrology that's upcoming. There are two reasons for this. Like I said, there is a new moon on September 14th, and there is a Mercury stationing direct on September 15th. And the interesting thing is that both of these things are happening in Virgo. So the pivotal moments in our life are going to be very specific, but they're also going to be related to the mistakes that we have learned the most from. The things that went wrong over the past 3 weeks are going to be our entry point into this pivotal moment or this turning of a corner. Now, it's really, really great to be able to say, like, okay, this went wrong and this went wrong and this went wrong. And for those of us in the crowd that are a little bit more perfectionist oriented than the others, that can be a little kind of like hard to take sometimes. But if we remember that we are here to learn, and making mistakes is a really important part of not only learning, but like enjoying life. Like, how are we going to enjoy life if we're living in fear of making a mistake? We actually can't. So I think Mercury retrogrades, again, Mercury retrograde is ending this week, but not until the end of the week. So we do have all week to spend with it. I think Mercury retrogrades are really good for reminding us just how human we are and how the imperfections in life and the mistakes and the miscommunications and all of it help us to deepen our relationship with the present moment. Because in general, we make mistakes because we're not, paying attention. We're not present. We're not able to listen to our gut or catch the thing in the moment and pause long enough to ask questions. So hopefully this week highlights our ability to have done so, or reminds us of the things we've learned the most from over the past couple of weeks, and can be a moment to recommit to being a better student of life. Again, this is all happening in Virgo. And yes, Virgo is known for being perfectionistic, if that's a word, but it's also an excellent student. It wants to be useful. Virgo wants to understand how a system works. It wants to understand the natural intelligence inherent in the natural world, in nature itself, and to be able to work with it in the most efficient way. Not always to be productive, but definitely to be grounded and practical, but to be eloquent. When things work seamlessly, there is a beauty to them. There is an efficiency to them. There is an ability to connect to something that feels like a greater intelligence than just us, right? And so Virgo knows that. Virgo works in that way. And so when things go wrong in Virgo, or in Virgo's life, or in Virgo's domain, it's telling us something really important. And that is that there is a greater intelligence at work. And what we need to do is realign ourselves with it. So this Mercury retrograde is trying to teach us what we are missing out on, what we're going too fast to hear, listen to, understand, observe, and integrate. And as Mercury stations direct on Friday, I hope that we get that reminder. I hope that we come into contact with something that is already working, that we can kind of plug into or tap into and be like, oh yeah, I actually don't have to control all of this. There is a greater organizing principle at play all the time. It is nature. It is the cosmos. It is the great creative force that lives and moves through all things. And I just need to get into that stream of awareness and consciousness. And so the mistakes or the mishaps that happen perhaps are pointing to a place or a way of being with life instead of being at the whim of it or even against it at some points. So what are the biggest lessons that you've been learning about that over the course of the last couple of weeks, and definitely over the course of this week? The last couple of days of Mercury's retrograde are usually very potent and compact. And I will say, as Mercury stations direct later this week, it will pull focus because it's doing something very significant. And because it's happening at the same time as the new moon, the focus is going to be on how we work effectively and efficiently and how we can utilize what is around us. Virgo is not concerned with what it doesn't have. Virgo is like, okay, what's the lay of the land? What resources do I have access to? How can I work best with them? How does this thing work and operate as it is? And how can I serve it? And that's what I suggest going into this new moon with. It's an attitude of service and humility. How can I serve this moment? How can I help this thing in my life course correct? How can I be of use here and now, given the circumstances and what is available to me? And if we can start from that place, there is a powerful pivot that can start to take shape, not only in our awareness, but also, I think, in our lives. There's a really innovative quality to this new moon, and the innovation is not to do something totally different, but I think the innovation is to be radically with what works and awake enough to understand how to serve and course correct in regards to what isn't working. And if we can enter into this next lunar cycle and this Mercury stationing direct with that kind of worker ethic, I think we're going to experience a lot more ease in our life. And then we get to see what's possible from that place. So the new moon's on Thursday, Mercury stations direct on Friday. And then on Saturday, Venus does something really cute that signals this weekend will feel really fun and expansive and like it's full of a lot of good times and good things and good connections. It's squaring Jupiter. This is the third and final time. It did so before, during, and after its retrograde. So we've actually been in this story since about June. And the story has something to do with the ways in which we are being encouraged to go big with our creative self-expression and maybe even overboard sometimes. So because it's the weekend and because Venus is so social, especially in Leo, or at least so loud, we can always use this aspect to help us to celebrate. So we're learning during the week about how to be a humble servant of life. And then this weekend, we're learning how to be in celebration of all that it is. Because Venus in Leo square Jupiter is like humble, schmumble. Let's have a good time and be extra. So there's a definite contrast here. And I do think that it is a nice counterpart to all of the learning and work that we're being asked to do in all of those very specific and detail-oriented Virgoan kinds of ways. All right, y'all. I'm sending you so many new moon Mercury stationing direct blessings, bearing in mind that as Mercury pivots, it does get sticky. So it's not like, okay, Mercury's direct and we're free. It's like, okay, we're pivoting, right? We're moving in a direction that's turning us. And so we want to do that in a mindful kind of way. Mercury will pick up speed and start going at a nice clip soon, but not quite yet. Thank y'all so much for leaving us reviews in the App Store. I wanted to read you this one. It's called The Best Astro and Spiritual Guidance App by Meline's Magical Boutique. I can't say thank you enough for the thoughtful guidance and astro info. I love opening up my app for daily updates and what's ahead. I feel more connected and confident with my day. Thank you, Chani and team, for having this tool for me and the community. Appreciate you and all you do. I finally subscribed and I'm so satisfied. I will see you back here next week where we will talk about the equinox. Bye for now.